Hare Krishna to everyone, dear devotees, dear Maharaj, nice to see you, Maharaj. Nice to be back in Los Angeles, ISKCON, under the shelter of Shri Rukmini Dvaradish, Jagannath Baladev Subhadra, Shri Gauri Nitai. Nice to see all of you. Hare Krishna. Welcome to Bible class today, and we continue reading Canto 4, Chapter 8, entitled Dhruva Maharaj Leaves Home. Right? And text number 57, right? Yeah. Okay, so we'll start with prayers. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. 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 Om Namo Sanskrit translation put by His Divine Grace of Ashton Bhaktivedanta Swami Shubhopad ki Svechavatara Charitaya Svechavatara Charitaya Achintya Nijamaya Karisyati Utamashlokas Sadhyayendri Dayangama. Please recite those mantras.
Svechavatara Charitaya Achintya Nijamaya Karisyati Utamashlokas Sadhyayendri Dayangama. Svechavatara Charitaya Achintya Nijamaya Uttama-shlokas Sadhyayendri Dayangamam.
Translation by Dhruva. My dear Dhruva, besides worshipping the deity and chanting the mantra 3 times a day, you should meditate upon the transcendental activities of the Supreme Personality of Godhead in His different incarnations, as exhibited by His supreme will and personal potencies. devotional service comprises 9 prescribed practices: hearing, chanting, remembering, worship with serving, offering everything to the deity, etc. Here, Dhruva Maharaj is advised not only to meditate on the form of the Lord, but to think of his transcendental pastimes and his different incarnations. Mayavadi philosophers take the incarnation of the Lord to be in the same category as an ordinary living entity. This is a great mistake. The incarnation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead is not forced to act by the material laws of nature. The word svecha is used here to indicate that he appears out of his supreme will. The conditioned soul is forced to accept a particular type of body according to his karma given by the laws of material nature under the direction of the Supreme Lord. When the Lord appears, he is not forced by the dictation of material nature. He appears as he likes by his own internal potency. That is the difference. The conditioned soul accepts a particular type of body, such as the body of a hawk, by his work and by the superior authority of material nature. But when Lord Krishna appears in the incarnation of a boar, he is not the same kind of hawk as an ordinary animal. Krishna appears as Varaha in an expensive feature which cannot be compared to an ordinary hawk's. His appearance and disappearance are inconceivable to us. In Bhagavad Gita, it is clearly said that he appears by his own internal potency for the protection of the devotees and annihilation of the non-devotees. A devotee should always consider that Krishna doesn't appear as an ordinary human being or ordinary beast. His appearance as Varahamurti or horse or tortoise is an exhibition of his internal potency. In the Brahma Samhita it is said, Ananda Chinmaya Sapratibhavitabhih. One should not mistake the appearance of the Lord as a human being or the beast to be the same as the birth of an ordinary conditioned soul who is forced to appear by the laws of nature, whether as an animal, as a human being, or as a demigod. This kind of thinking is offensive. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has condemned the Mayavadis as offensive to the Supreme Personality of Godhead because they think that the Lord and the conditioned living entities are one and the same. Narada advises Dhruva to meditate on the pastimes of the Lord, which is as good as meditation of concentrating one's mind on the form of the Lord. As meditation on any form of the Lord is available, so is chanting of different names of the Lord, such as Hari, Govinda, and Narayana. But in this age, we are especially advised to chant the Hare Krishna mantra as enunciated in the Shastra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Vishnu Prabhupada. Om Dhyanatidyanandasya Gyananyana Shalakaya Chashurvindam Yanatasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Mano Bhishtam Stapitam Yena Putale Svam Vivakada Mahyam Padati Svapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Tapagakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavam Shri Rupam Sagradatam Sahaganatanathamitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savchutam Vajanam Zahidam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahaganam Varinam Shri Vishaka Vikamsha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Vinamaguru Vigadate Krishna Siddha Kanta Namaste Bhakta Kakshana Gurangi Ravi Veda Vaneshwari Vishakanta Sudati Pranamami Harike Vanchakauta Rupesha Vipasindhu Vechapatitam Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Namo Vishnu Hare Krishna 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 Bhakti Vedanta Swami Nityananda Namaste Saraswati Devi Bhagavani Prachari Mir Vishnu Итак, Кришна, Ваша Мата, Сутам, Сачвяни, Господи, Радса, Дамана, Nama Sheshta Manchi Namata Sotam Panta Sagadam Purima Purim Gustavo Tamrati Punadiva Rati Natal Santa Pesa Puditi Paya Shiguru Tanados Hare Krishna. Thank you for coming. Asking blessings from the seniors. So, Dhruva Carita, the story of Dhruva Maharaj, is very inspirational and very fascinating story. How to go back home, back to God very fast. And even it was inspiration even for Lord Chaitanya, who was listening from Gadadhar Pandit in Jagannath Puri for 100 times this story at the lotus feet of Toda Gopinath deity. So we can draw many lessons, many wonderful meanings from this story. So maybe we can try to discuss a few of them. And first of all, Dhruva Maharaj. Dhruva's case was a little bit similar to our case as well, because he was belonged to the category of people, those who are dressed to the Lord for material gains, for material profit. So Krishna explained in Bhagavad Gita, Chaturvidhi Bhajantima Gyana Sukriti Narjuna Artoji Gyasvartati Genicha Vardashama. There are 4 different types of people, those who come into the Lord for different material reasons. He was not devotee, his motivation was not devotional, right? He was in predicament of life, and also he wanted to get some material position, right? Like Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur writes that he was burned by the words of his stepmother, and he was inspired by the words of his mother. So his mother, she was the first guru who is inspired him to go find Vishnu. It's called Bharma Pradasha Guru, right? Bharma means path. So first person who shows us the path towards Krishna is called Bharma Pradasha. So his mother sent him to the forest. She said, your situation only can be resolved by Vishnu, because it's very kind of tough situation, very unresolved, let's say, situation. So wherever Krishna puts the devotees in some kind of difficult situation, they have to understand this is supreme arrangement. This is Daivi Karmana Deva Netrina. This is supreme cause. So we put on a certain situation in life so that we can appeal sincerely to the Lord for His mercy. So Dhruva Maharaj was also thrown into deep end. He was a 5-year-old child, and he was offended by his stepmother, and he was completely devastated. So he went to the forest, and first of all, he met by the arrangement of the Supreme Lord. So Krishna sent him very great devotee, Narada Muni, who is considered to be the Bhakti Aveshavatara, Shakti Aveshavatara, Bhakti Shakti. So he was empowered by Bhakti Shakti, and he is a very powerful devotee who can elevate anyone to the platform of pure devotional service. Jai Maharaj Jai. And we know from the history, from the Puranic histories, when Narada Muni was able to convert into devotee, forest hunter, lowborn, or prostitute, or even python, so many different creatures, he inspired with bhakti. So bhakti is available to everyone because all the divinities are part and parcels of Krishna. Namayavam Shajiva, Kejiva, Buddha, Sanatana. So Narada, he is being a very expert devotee, very expert spiritual master. He knows how to, inspire, how to connect to Krishna in different times, places, circumstances. And Rupa Goswami explained in his teaching that actually our devotional service starts from the surrender to the spiritual master, right? So 5 first angas of bhakti, they are related to the spiritual master, to the Guru Tattva. Right? Guru Padashraya, Shri Krishna Diksha, Shri Vishwambara Guru Seva, Swadharma Diksha, what was the last one? Remind me. Sadhu Anu Vartantam. So these 5 items, 5 first devotional items out of the 64, starting from spiritual master. So we can enter in the temple of Bhakti by connecting to the Guru Tattva. So there's stairs outside of the temple. How we can enter into it? Just by climbing up the stairs. In the same way, to embark on the process of Bhakti, so we have to first of all connect to the spiritual master. So in Narada Muni, he was sent by Krishna, by the Supreme Guru, like they say in Chaitanya Charitamrita. Brahmanda Brahmate Kona Bhagavan Jiva Guru Krishna Vasadevaya Bhakti. After many million lifetimes, maybe Bhagavan Jiva, fortunate Jiva, bumped into devotee who has been sent by Krishna. And by the grace of this devotee, he can find Krishna ultimately. There are 2 types of mercy, Bhagavan mercy and Bhakta mercy, devotee's mercy. So, Dhruva Maharaj met Narada Muni, who inspired Dhruva to perform devotional service. He sent him to the forest where Vishnu resides. And this is forest of Madhuvan. Madhuvan is one of the 12 forests of Vrindavan in Braj-Mandal. The 7th forest on the western bank of Yamuna and 5th forest on the other side of Yamuna. So Madhuvan is a place of Krishna's pastimes. It's Lila studies, many different pastimes perform Krishna there. And like Prabhupada explained in one of the purport that when we visit holy places like Jagannath Puri, Vrindavan, Mayapur, we can feel the presence of Krishna immediately there. Because Krishna resides there. So he sent him there, and he went to the forest, and he gave him classic devotional instructions, like for regular Vaidhi Bhakti. So you have to perform this process by following the instruction of the spiritual master. So he inspired him to worship deity, to chant mantras, to reside in a holy place, to perform Sankirtan, right? So Prabhupada also arranged for us certain setup. Our morning program, evening program consists of 5 main angas of Bhakti, which are called Panchanga Bhakti. Bhagavad Shravanam, Harinam Sankirtan, Sadhu Sangha, Shimukti, Shradha, Sevana, Madhura Vas. Right? So there's 5 most potent items of devotional service. By performing them daily from the morning to the evening, so we do a morning program and evening, and in between there is service. Sometimes somebody called it ISKCON sandwich. There is a service in the middle and also program at the morning and at the evening. And this is guaranteed for you the success in your spiritual practice. Like Prabhupada said, and Rupa Goswami said that as well, even neophyte, beginner, by performing this angas of bhakti, he can experience the ecstasy, ecstatic emotions, because it's direct angas of bhakti, Shravan, Kirtan, Vishnu, Smaran, so you can feel this bhakti shakti which is going through. You're going to be inspired by this immediately. So this process has been given to Dhruva Maharaj, and its success is guaranteed if you sincere, if you're strict, if you're serious. Like Dhruva. Dhruva name means he is undeviated, he's a fixed, he's a very determined person. Dhruva means very determined, very concentrated. So he took up this process and started to follow the instruction of his spiritual master with great determination, with enthusiasm. Utsahani shedaya tatkarma pravartana. And these instructions are not different from instructions given by Rupa Goswami, who gave instructions in his Upadesh Amrita. He said, Tatman Rupa Charitanya Sam Kirtanam Smrityo Kramena Rasan Manas Nyaja Tishhan Bajata Tanuragi Chanamagami Sadhya Akhila Iti Upadesha Sara. So this instruction is like the essence of whole teaching, Upadesh Amrita. So you have to do, you have to stand in the holy place, Tishthan Raja, right? Same things. And he gave him, he instructed him to worship deity, to chant mantras, to take a bath in the holy river in Yamuna. But besides those things, he also inspired him to meditate, dhyayet, meditate upon Svechhavatara Charitaya, Achintya Ninja Mayaya, upon the inconceivable pastimes of the Lord, who is descending or who performs his pastimes according to his sweet will. Svechhamaya, Svechha Avatara Charitaya. Charitaya means narrations, different pastimes. So, and this meditation is a little bit more advanced practice. You have to be qualified for that. So first process is Shravana. So we have to listen, we have to hear the pastimes or holy name or pastimes, form, characteristics, so on and so forth. So this is the beginning of spiritual life. Beginning of spiritual life starts from the process of Shravana. So Shravana is beginning, middle, and the end of the process. So Shravana is always. It's a very powerful process, and it is only the channel by which we can connect to the spiritual plane or dimension. There is not any other connection with the spiritual realm, only through the healing process. So this is Shravana. Everything starts from Shravana. When we hear nicely and sufficiently, we become kind of filled up with the pastimes, forms, and everything of the Lord. Then we are ready to perform Kirtan, right? Shravana Kirtan. Well, Kirtan is going smoothly, nicely going Kirtan, so we chant in holy name, and also glorifying the Lord and doing preaching work for the benefit of our Guru Parampara. So, and then when we sufficiently, because when we chant it, when we do Kirtan, this is called Vacha Indriya. Vacha Indriya, very, very important sense. By this Vacha Indriya, all the other senses are going to follow, like mind and all other senses. So Vacha Indriya, when we speak about Lord, so naturally our mind attracted and comes and just follow. So this is very important to chant all the time. Chant. So always chant the holy name. Kirtanya Sada Harita is saying. And then when you sufficiently chant him, then you're able to remember, right? Shravana Kirtana Vishnu Smarana. So Smarana comes, it's very advanced stage to remember. When we're not able to remember, so we have to come back to Shravana and Kirtana to settle down on this platform very nicely, very strongly, establish ourselves, so that we can move to Smarana. And finally, Smarana is the ultimate goal, because Smarata Vyusadam Vishnu is Smarata Vyusadam. So we have to remember Lord always and never forget Him. This is the verdict of the old Vedic scriptures. So, but to remember, so we have to be qualified. So our chitta, our antakarana should be pure. Shuddha antakarana. If there is some contamination, some modes of nature and anarthas, we did not pass yet the anartha stage. So we just continue engage ourselves in Shravana and Kirtana. So remembrance is quite advanced. But anyway, this is process for Raganuga Bhakti, for the next stage. This is main process. Although both stages of sadhana bhakti, first phase is called binding and then Raganuga. Both of them, they inspired by same angas of bhakti. Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, Smaranam, Bandhanam, Archanam, Padasevanam, Sakyam, Darshan, Sakyam, Atmanivedam, all these angas are there. We have to follow them on both levels. Doesn't matter where you, but emphasis on the different angas. Like for example, at the beginning probably mostly emphasize on Shravana and Kirtana, but then you can move to the Smarana level of Raganuga, or spontaneous devotional service. And this is instruction is given to Dhruva Maharaj. You have to dhyana means meditation upon the transcendental forms, pastimes, Svechha, Maya, Avatara, Achintya, Nija, Maya. So all these beautiful pastimes of Krishna. So, and we have to be quite advanced for that, to remember Krishna. Because probably while we're chanting, so our mind is wandering, so there is no fixation, there is no proper, concentration on Krishna's pastimes form and so on and so forth. So therefore there is a sequence which goes Nama, Rupa, Guna, Lila, Dhamma, Parishads, and all this going upward, all these different things. So we have to start in a proper sequence, right? So we have to fix ourselves on the level of Nama, right? We have to chant and hear properly. Prabhupada said, so we have to hear the holy name attentively. And some of the Prabhupada's disciples, I think his name is Shivananda, he asked him, Prabhupada, if we, during our chanting, while we're chanting, we think of Krishna, can we think of Krishna? Whether it would not be offensive, or Prabhupada said, no, it's not offensive. It is wanted to think of Krishna, but not maybe at the beginning stage. And the first instruction in that we have to concentrate on hearing. So we have to hear properly and attentively and constantly. Attentive hearing, right? And then it brings us to the level of, because Sankirtan, good Sankirtan, Sukirtanam, Prabhupada Goswami said, Sad, Shyat Namarupa Charitari, Sukirtanam, Smrityor, then Smriti coming. So Smriti, and then we have to also live in Raj, Krishnamra, Jata, Ragi, Janurgami, and follow the footsteps of Anuragi Jama. So this is even more advanced stage. So we have to follow the eternal residents of Vrindavan in their spiritual sarup, how they serve Krishna, how they advance in their devotion. So we have to choose the role model for ourselves according to our inclination of the heart. So all and every living entity has eternal relationship with Krishna in particular ras. There are 5 main rasas: Shanta, Dasya, Sakya, Vatsalya, and Purya. So everyone has his own nature, which he is meant for. It's called Vastu. Vastu is meant for a certain type of relationship with Krishna. So we created by this purpose. We designed for that. So now we have to discover it through the process of devotional service, through the process of sadhana, and pull it out from our heart, uncover it and disclose it, and then we have to engage. So, and this is process of following, right? So, Tishtam Rajata Anuragi Jananugami. So, following the eternal residence of Raja. This is ultimately what is required to enter into the realm of Raja Bhakti or spontaneous devotional service. So we have to be inspired by some, advanced devotee who is on that level, and always remember Krishna. Krishna Smaran Javaja said, Nijda Samihitam, Rupa Goswami explained this process. So he nicely explains the science of bhakti. So step by step, this is very scientific, right? So then he explained how to perform the spontaneous devotional service. Prajna Bhakti. Seva Sadhaka Rupena Siddha Rupena Chaitra. So he explained how to do this in a Sadhaka Rup or in Siddha Rup as well. So in its spiritual form. So, but this is quite advanced. So anyway, so Narada Muni, he inspired Dhruva Maharaj to follow this process. And if you follow, this example is very inspirational because by following the instructions, by performing bhakti, by performing all these angas of bhakti, which are very potent, very powerful, so we surely achieve the ultimate goal of life, the supreme goal of life, which is divine love of Godhead, Krishna Prema. So by following this wonderful example, which is very inspiring for us. So Dhruva, being a young child, 5 years old, he was able to accomplish his spiritual practice and attain the supreme goal of life. And he started like a normal materialist, small child. What is a child? Child has no brain, you know. And Krishna said, so we have to start from buddhi yoga, we have to think. So if you surrender to the spiritual master and follow his instruction, we surely achieve the ultimate goal of life. And the meditation, which we explain here, is supposed to be on your particular form of the Lord, which is certainly, which is most attractive to you. Its form is called Ishtadev, right? It's a particular form of worshipable deity. So everyone, it will be discovered in a more advanced stage. And Dhruva Maharaj used to meditate on the form of Vishnu, four-armed form Vishnu. His name Prishnigarpa. Vishnu Prishnigarpa, he's like incarnation of Garba Shai Vishnu, and he's one of the avatars, Lila avatars, who descended as a son of Prishni and Sutapa. That's why he is Prishnigarpa, who is born from the womb of Prishnigarpa, and Sanatana Goswami, he called him in Brihad Bhagavatamrita Sahasra Shirsha Vishnu. Sahasra Shirsha. So this is form, and this is also one of the items of devotional service. Like we have to choose form of the Lord and meditate on particular form according to the name, particular name that we change. Like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu explained this in Shashtaka prayers. He said, Nam Nama Kariba Kutham Nijasava Shakti Statar Pitanya Tasmarana Kalat. Itadishitava Kripa Bhagavan. So many names of Krishna. So we meditate on a particular name, like Srila Prabhupada said here, Hari, Govinda, Krishna, Vishnu, so on and so forth. So by meditating on a certain name, that we connect into the certain form of the Lord, and then certain qualities, right? Nama, Guna, Rupa, and certain Lila. So there is entered in this particular dimension of the spiritual realm, where Krishna, in a particular form, performs his pastimes. That's why we change a certain name of the Lord, right? So, but we change in Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare. So this name of the Lord is, according to Bhakti Guru Harinam Chaitanya, he said that this is the supreme name of the Lord. The Gavan Nama, Mukhya Nama, Aishwarya Nama, Madhurya Nama. And this is the supreme name of the Lord. Hare Krishna, Rama. All those names are connected to the Braja Lila and Braja Bhav, Vrindavan Prem. So if you change in those names, we guarantee we enter into the Krishna's pastimes in Vrindavan and Krishna's form, which is considered the supreme form, Madhurya Rupa. So this most attractive and original form of Bhagavan, right? Krishna's to Bhagavan Swayam. So therefore, all these instructions are given here, and all these instructions are given by Narada Muni, who is also Nama Parampara's line. So we also be connected to Brahma, Gaudiya, Vaishnava Sampradaya, and Narada Muni, he is there, he is at the beginning of that line. He is directly after Brahma, right? So, and this is beautiful instructions which was given, and this finally brought Dhruva Maharaj to the success. So by observing this example, by remembering this pastime, we can also be inspired, we can also follow this great example and gradually move ourselves to the stations of devotional service, like в Pakistan established. Атоша от этого садусанга баджана крия, анархани врити сят, ништха учи, тато асакти bhava prema pidashkiti. We can attain this supreme goal of life sooner or later. If we determine like a Dhruva was very pure, he was very fixed, and he finally attained for 6 months, I think, it is mentioned, 6 months, he attained perfection. So this is great success and this is a great example given in Bhagavatam. So for our inspiration to accomplish our goal of life. So no problem if you follow the instruction of the spiritual master. In our line, all our spiritual masters are very illustrious, like Narada, our Srila Prabhupada, like Sanaji, Shorty Bhajan, and so on and so forth, up to the 6 Goswamis, right? And our Sampradaya Acharya is Upagoswami, who is some Stapak Acharya of our Sampradaya, he established our Sampradaya. That's why he gave to us instruction in his Upadeshamrita. Syamnama, Pachavitari, Kirtanam, this is Upadeshamrita. Same instructions, same, they're connected to level of spontaneous devotional service and regulated devotional service. So probably most of us on the level of regulated devotional service, but same processes are over there. Only emphasis is different on the smarana. So we have to prepare ourselves for this journey to enter into the level of, if inspired of us. So we have free will, we have independence to practice our bhakti as we like. We can follow the example of Dhruva Maharaj. And Dhruva Maharaj, it is explained by Acharyas, his bhakti was a little bit slightly slackened because he started with very materialistic kind of motivation. He wanted to get some material profit and become like a great king of this universe. But anyway, he attained perfection by transforming his motivations, his chitta, his consciousness, and he attained perfection by association with Dhruva or with Narada. So we have sadhu-sangha, we have devotees, those who in different levels of advancement, we can get inspiration from them and also be inspired and change our motivation if we have something lower than Anukuriyena Krishna Anushilana. So this is the main focus, our focus, and this is motivation for Shuddha Bhakti. Rupa Goswami explained, Shuddha Bhakti means Anukuriyena Krishna Anushilana. We want to please Krishna beside all other objects, which may be very lovable objects of this world, but we want to please Krishna. And of course, Krishna is a little bit broad concept. So many things are included in Krishna. But first of all, devotees of Krishna, Guru Tattva, Dham, Holy Dham, what is called? Holy Dham. All the items of Holy Dham, like Dhruva, he went to Madhuban, right? It's called Tadiya Vastu. This is the word. Tadiya Vastu. So this is Tadiya Vastu. This is everything included in Krishna. So we have to please, we have to follow this, the last example or instruction. And then success will be guaranteed. So please take it seriously. Connect and achieve the perfection. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. I don't know the time, and I just stop here. Maybe some questions, comments, or commentaries would like to give. You can speak with power.
Okay. So you're saying like we could follow the footsteps of Dhruva Maharaj, and then like we'll become purified. How exactly does it work? It seems like serving the Lord to achieve some sort of like material benefit. It seems like we may also be watering like weeds at the same time. So like where does where does like the transfer take place? It seems also dangerous to do that.
To watering material desires. I mean, we can follow Dhruva Maharaj not by his intention, by his process that he took up, like being instructed by another. But of course, his intention was material, but it's also similar to our situation because we Carita products, let's say, we're not gyanis. We also came for different reasons, like some of us maybe wanted to get some material profit benefits or escape some suffering, distress in life. Probably we're not gyanis, right? We're looking for absolute truths or searching for some absolute. But anyway, so by connecting to the devotional service and to the Sangha of devotees, so we burn our desires, and if we not, we have to continue. But it's not a difficult task to change your intention in the mind. This is discrimination. So we have to just fix it very quickly. Even child can do it. But of course we have to be inspired for that. Otherwise just artificial thinking doesn't help. So we have to be inspired, and therefore we have to look at the example of our devotees and also our history of our glorious parampara, sampradaya, Gaudiya tradition. So, and Rupa Goswami inspired us immediately started to perform sadhana for pure devotional service. Not any mix, not karma mishra bhakta like Dhruva was. He was karma mishra bhakta. He explained he is on a level of his prema is a little bit slacking because of this motivation. But finally he met Vishnu and he changed. He just wanted to just serve and wanted to throw away all the desires because it was like what is called broken glass in comparison with the diamond when we saw Vishnu. So Vishnu is inspired by his intention. Probably we have to take up inspiration from Srila Rupa Goswami, who is our Sampradayacharya, and try to serve Krishna with desire to please Krishna. So this is much more pleasing and much more enjoyable for the soul, actually.
Thank you, Prabhu. That was very nice. Whole presentation. I just wanted to ask, with your permission, that the question that what Srila Prabhupada uses the example about, like the iron, when you put it in the fire, eventually becomes fire. So similarly, at the beginning, the iron is still iron. It can be we can be in the process, but we're still immature. So the iron is still there, the fire is there. It just remains in the fire, and eventually it becomes, fire.
Fire eventually.
And the success of you can say the success of Dhruva Maharaj was not necessarily his tapasya, austerities, but the greatness of his achievement was that he was able to follow as it is the process given by Narada Muni. So if we also are willing to stick to the process as is given by Srila Prabhupada or by the acharyas, eventually we also be successful. So it's a gradual thing. How do you transform from, it cannot be like immediately, patience.
Thank you very much, it's a good point. I just came to my mind, explain a little more about this last time. So actually Dhruva, he was performing great austerities. It's like severe tapasya, extremely severe. We shouldn't look at it because it's not the process of bhakti. So bhakti is not by raga, bhakti is raga, out of raga, out of inspiration. So we not falsely renowned things, but we try to follow the taste, higher taste. And because Dhruva, he was a resident of Satya Yuga, and at the time there were some austerities for, like to follow to achieve perfection of life and to follow austerities. It is explained in Srimad Bhagavatam. Kriteya Dhyaya Vishnu Tateya Jitomakayam Pari Paricharya Kalam Tadhari Kirtana. There are different ages, different processes, right? So in Satya Yuga, the meditation and austerities. Therefore, Dhruva, he was attached to that. He was thinking, through that I can attain perfection. But Narada Muni, he a little bit cheated him, like Prabhupada cheated us all of us. He said, just chant Hare Krishna and be happy. You will get it, no problem. So, in the same way, he treated him. He said, okay, austerity is all right, but actually the main process is to live in a holy place, chant holy name, worship deities, take bath in the holy river, and meditate upon the Lord's form. So, but all austerities are secondary. Breathing, not breathing, staying on one leg or upside down, I don't know, different upwards asanas. This is not the process. So we should not look at it. It doesn't give you bhakti, it doesn't give you perfection. So, and even it makes it worse because it makes our heart hard. So therefore, bhakti is a vairagya, it's not vairagya, it's part of raga. Raga nuga. So we follow raga, not vairagya. So different things. So therefore, Dhruva, externally he was performing austerities, but internally he was doing bhakti, and that was what Narada Muni gave to him. He gave him process of bhakti, no austerity, no meditation. Meditate, he said meditate, dhyayat, meditate, upon Svayishka Avatar Charitaya. But meditate on a beautiful form of course he was attached to Vishnu, so he's a meditator upon. So he started to meditate, and then Lord appeared at the front of him. Not because of his austerities, but because of his bhakti. So Krishna is attracted only by bhakti. Bhakti nama kinchanati evaneshti tatvata tata vata gyatash vishadetat anantara. So this is wonderful lessons which we can draw from this beautiful pastimes of Dhruva Charita. Gaur Premanande Hari Bol. Hare Krishna. Yes, please. There's some mic.
Yeah, you were mentioning how Krishna consciousness is not vairagya, but it's raga. So what is that? How's that different from, like Prabhupada mentions in the Bhagavad Gita, that the basic principle of Krishna consciousness is detachment from material things and attachment to the service of the Lord?
Yeah, there is some mention by Rupa Goswami and Srimad Bhagavatam how we can start our process. He says, Yadrichkaya Matkatadu Jatoshatha Asakama Nirvarya Nisakto Nirvaryaya Nisakto Madbhakti Siddhara, something like that. A little bit messed up with Sanskrit. So he said, how we can start our process of bhakti. So you have to be not attached too much and not detached as well. Not attachment is karma, not detached is jnana. Detachment is jnana. It's not the process of bhakti. And main things, yadrichkaya, matkatha, we have to meet devotees and assimilate some positive sanskaras or impressions out of association with devotee. This is will be cause of your shraddha or your faith in devotional service. So it's a balance. You're not attached, you're not detached. If you're too much detached, you're not able to take the bhakti process. And if you're attached as well, so you have to be somewhere in the middle, and then you have to accommodate this means association with the Buddha, then you get shrouded. So you have to be balanced. And even detachment, it's more worse than attachment. Detachment is even more worse. It's disqualified from the path of bhakti. Disqualified. A little detachment should be there, of course. So we have to control our senses, we have to be disciplined in order to be in a mode of goodness. So mode of goodness means discipline and balance, so that we can jump up to the transcendental level, Satvaya Brahma Darshana. So, and this is only for being in situation in mode of goodness, because goodness is the best mode for practice Shuddha Bhakti. In other modes, we cannot practice Shuddha Bhakti. You can practice something, like Kapila Muni explained there, Rajasic Bhakti, Tamasic Bhakti, Sattvic Bhakti. So we don't want all of those, we want pure devotional Shuddha Bhakti. So Sattva Guna, we have to be qualified and detached only just to be in Sattva Guna. That's it. Not any other extreme, you know.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Goprananda Hari Bol, Radha Krishna Bhagavatam Jai, Shri Bhagavatam Jai, Shri Rukmini Radha Krishna Jai, Small Los Angeles Yatra Ki Jai, Nitai Gaur Nityananda Hari Gaur.
Knowledge is detachment. This is